This is exactly why Lionel Messi didn't want to rejoin Barcelona, as Lionel Messi's contract at PSG slowly started to dwindle away. Rumours started to speculate that the Argentinian could be on a dream return to Barcelona, reuniting him with his footballing home and returning the Catalan Giants to glory once more. Sure, Barca had to fiddle around with a few wage bill concerns, but it seemed they'd squeezed this one over the line just like they had done all the other years. Surely, they had to. It just made so much sense. Lionel Messi has gone to the MLS. How exciting. If you're like me, I found Messi's last 2 transfer decisions excruciatingly boring. There was no challenge in joining PSG, and it's gotten even easier in the MLS now. I was so excited with Messi joining Barcelona once again, but it was the ins and outs of why that dream deal never quite happened. Barca was the preferred option for Messi. The man scored 474 goals for the club and spent 21 years there, winning 10 La Ligas, 7 Copa del Reys and 4 Champions Leagues. And the hierarchy were obviously desperate for his return. But according to the Athletic's anonymous sources, it was discovered around a week before the supposed move that Barcelona couldn't actually guarantee Messi was going to be signed on as a player. But what does that actually mean? We've all heard of the financial difficulties Barcelona have had over the last few seasons, but how does that actually affect the re-signing of Lionel Messi? Well, in order to make sure the league is more sustainable, the league have introduced salary caps over the last few seasons. And if a team goes over their allocated amount, which is determined on how well they financially performed in the season before, then they won't be able to register the player that's broken the wage bill to the league. So even if Barcelona win the league, like they have just done, if they haven't performed well financially, they won't be able to sign near enough anyone. Regardless of if Barcelona could afford Lionel Messi or not, they simply couldn't pay his wage and also still legally play him in the league, which is quite a big issue. A problem so big that actually forced Lionel Messi out of the club back in 2021. Messi had agreed a contract with Barcelona back when he first left. They simply couldn't fit his wage bill into the following season, and he had to leave pretty immediately. And since then, it seems Barcelona simply haven't learnt their lesson. In the following summer, Barcelona had their eyes on Lewandowski, Rafinha, Kessie, Christiansen, and they were announced as brand new signings, but they couldn't actually figure out how to register them for La Liga until only a couple of days before, due to the salary cap. Whilst Jules Koundé couldn't actually be registered right until the transfer window closed. This, coupled with the horrible experience Messi had last time, kind of put him off with the reuniting every fan wanted to happen. In an interview with Sport and Mundo Deportivo, Messi said, "I had offers from another European team, but I didn't even consider it because my idea in Europe was only to rejoin Barcelona. After winning the World Cup and not being able to rejoin Barca, it was time to move on. I wanted to come back, but at the same time, the way I left the club, I did not want to find myself in that situation, which was waiting for whatever can happen and leaving my future in someone else's hands." Messi clearly didn't want a repeat of 2021 and wanted a secure situation at his next club. Another aspect of not joining was the recent comments made by former teammate and current Barcelona manager Xavi. Xavi recently pointed out in a press conference that Messi had 99% of the power in who decides whether Messi joins Barcelona or not. But this didn't impress the people close to Messi. If Barcelona wanted Messi to rejoin so badly, why is the pressure on him to make it work out? Surely if Barca are desperate for their greatest ever player to return to the club, then they should hold all the power into whether he returns or not. And there was no guarantee 2021 wouldn't repeat itself. If in 2021 the relationship between Barcelona and La Liga looks more or less fine, said an anonymous source close to Messi, what can we expect now if apparently their relationship is on eggshells? To accommodate Messi to rejoin Barcelona, the club could have cut costs and spending across other areas, but the Argentinian legend simply didn't want to cause that. Barca TV, which will be cut down this summer to save funds, always had a special relationship with Messi after they captured some of the very first footage of his young career and quickly developed a strong relationship with the star, a relationship he now wouldn't have and partially due to his return. I heard Barcelona had to sell players or make cuts, and the truth is I didn't want to go through that or feel responsible for something like this, said Messi. Imagine Messi reuniting with his teammates only to find out that half of them are gone on half their wage that they deserve just because he's back at the club. Of course, there's the argument that Messi could have returned and not even earned a single penny. He's got enough money floating around. Why not take 2 years, have the time of your life back in Barcelona and just give something back to the club? But I can't stand that argument. Imagine you'd given 20 years of your life to a company and you'd done extremely well. All the staff loved you and you'd given so much back to the company itself, some of its most successful times in its history. And then eventually, with very little notice, the company just pops up out of nowhere and says, "Sorry, can't afford you anymore, you're going to have to go." The place you've lived, the place you've developed relationships, all just gone, just shattered because someone behind the scenes couldn't take care of the money. You go somewhere else, you have relative success, but then 2 years later, your old company comes back to you and says, "You know what, we'd quite love you here, the staff would love you here, why don't you just spend the next 2 years on zero money, absolutely no wages, and just give something back to us?" Why would anyone do that? And why would Messi, who's worked his whole life for his career, go and repay that to Barcelona? He deserves to get paid for his work. I'm aware of the argument of how much footballers get paid to nurses and doctors, but at the end of the day, it's a business that has developed its money accordingly, a business that Messi has worked hard at, is talented at, the best that has ever ever been. He deserves to get paid. So what now for Barcelona? Well, of course they're still in a sticky situation with La Liga and have now had to come up with a viability plan. Rather than Barcelona drastically reducing their wage bill right now, which they have done through certain players like Sergio Busquets and Jordi Alba leaving, the plan will allow them to slowly reduce the bill over a few years. Specifically, Barcelona can only spend 40% of what they've made from sales. So, say they make 100 million in one summer, well, they can only then spend 40% of that 100 million, so only 40 million on new players. As for Messi, well, this looks like the end, and fair play to him. I'll admit, the fanboy in me is frustrated that we won't get one final hurrah with him in Europe, maybe even him in the Premier League, testing himself against other teams in different countries. But, you know, fair play to him. He's gone to the MLS, he's been the greatest footballer of all time, and I also do not blame him for just wanting to chill out for a couple of years and enjoy his life. There isn't a trophy he's left unconquered. He's given his fans everything that they could have ever hoped for. So why not? Chill out in America for a few years and call it a day.